The time is ticking for McFarlane Toys to crank out as many DC Multiverse figures as possible. Next year, Mattel gets the license back. We don't know how those figures are going to look. We don't know how much those figures are going to cost. But right here, right now, McFarlane has a clear runway to deliver as many figures as possible. The way they crank them out, 100 probably isn't unreasonable, but I decided let's narrow it down a bit to the 50 essential figures that we need to see so we can have a moderately complete DC universe from McFarlane Toys. Got my list of 50. It's time to break it down. Of course, I want to hear from you all what you think and what you want to see. But let's start with mine right now. What's up, everybody? It's Jeffrey Lyles welcoming you to another edition of Lyles Figure Files. This list has been long delayed. I have done 50 characters that need to get done from McFarlane Toys over and over and over again. And then we had those amazing reveals at WonderCon. I was like, well, there's a few more off the list. And there's so many different ways to go with this. What I wanted to do was tackle the important characters in DC. This image from Gary Frank kind of gives you a great indication of important DC characters. You'll see the Justice Society on this list, the new Teen Titans. No Doom Patrol, unfortunately, I just couldn't work them in. No All-Star Squadron, no Legion of Superheroes, and I really wanted to get them in, but we only had Lightning Lad, which is really unfortunate, but if only we hadn't gotten some of those 20 Batman figures and 40 Superman figures along the way. There's time to revisit all the bad mistakes, the bad character choices later. For now, this is all about what we can still hopefully possibly get from McFarlane by the end of the year. To start, I need to complete this team right behind me. And we're halfway done, but we need the rest of them because any great DC figure collection needs a completed Justice League. And I'm sure for a lot of you, your Justice League is the satellite era. And my number one biggest want is a Wonder Woman befitting this Silver Age team. That means I need a Jose Luis Garcia Lopez version that can sit right next to that Superman, Batman, Green Lantern, Flash, and just stand up, be a centerpiece of my DC Multiverse collection. Next up is a pair of couples. The Neil Adams versions of Green Arrow and Black Canary. I mean, geez, they've been featured all over, including Justice League Unlimited. In these costumes, just make it simple. Knock those two out as well. The other couple, Hawkman and Hawkwoman. Hawkman, let's get him in that collector edition line. That way he can have different cows, which will help us knock out another team's leader later on. So we got those four couples, Wonder Woman. Next up, we need Elongated Man. And Elongated Man for the satellite era needs to be in his red and black outfit. He absolutely needs a chase, though, so he can be in his gray, purple, white outfit. We need that look as well. And finally, to wrap up the satellite era Justice League, we need Zatanna. And I'm torn with her. Do we get her with the fishnet stockings? Maybe, but I really love the George Perez outfit. So let's get her in that look. So get those. That's 7 characters. That should be really easy to knock them out in full wave or build a figure wave, whichever way he needs to make that happen. Elongated Man could easily be a build a figure. So we just use, say, Green Arrow, Black Canary, Wonder Woman, and Zatanna. And we've got our build a figure Elongated Man. Then we just do Hawkman. Hawkwoman's coming out in a Justice Society version, but maybe we can just reuse some of those parts to get us a classic Hawkwoman. That should be relatively easy. So that's my first 7. Let's move on to another team. This is my cheat one because this one is essential because it takes care of some major arch enemies for our characters. That's the Secret Society of Supervillains. And basically, if you were a villain in the DC universe in the 70s and early 80s, and you weren't part of this team, you didn't matter because you were a terrible villain. This team covers everybody. I don't have everyone represented, but I think this is a really nice cross stitch of the really important ones. First, Gorilla Grodd. We've gotten a figure of Grodd already, but it's a lame terrible figure. They've done gorilla figures, they've done a King Kong, they've done a Titano. We need Gorilla Grodd, one with some articulation and can actually do stuff outside of being a flat statue. And then next up, let's get Kronos. We've got an Atom figure. Kronos has a wild, crazy look, and I'm going to start looking at some of those other figures we've gotten in the past if we don't get some of these other wilder ones. Kronos, Adam's arch enemy. He should get made in figure form simply for that. Next up, Star Sapphire. We haven't gotten one of Green Lantern's major villains. She needs to get done in figure form. She's a prominent member of this team, and she's one of Green Lantern's main enemies. So, no brainer there. Poison Ivy, she's like the last major Batman villain. And yeah, we can get a Jim Lee. She's in green version, but what I want is the classic Silver Age version where she's mostly human and she's just wearing a green leotard with some leaves on it. That's the version of Poison Ivy I want. So let's get her to go alongside the Two-Face, the Riddler, Penguin, Joker we've already got. So there we go with her. Next up, I already mentioned Star Sapphire, but we also need Green Lantern's arch enemy in his classic look. Talking about Sinestro, got him in that great Sinestro core outfit. We need him in the blue and black. I mean, it's just that simple. We got to get that look in figure form. There you go. Next up, Todd loves doing the big guys. Let's get Blockbuster. Blockbuster's a big Hulk-sized villain. He's got the mold. He's got parts for a big hulking bad guy. Blockbuster is an easy one, and he would have a lot of fun. And getting Blockbuster would be awesome. So yes, let's do that. Next up, another classic character. Some of these are making good from figures that were released earlier, but not the way maybe a lot of you all wanted either. Talk about Captain Boomerang. He also helps with the Suicide Squad. So we've got a Deadshot. We still need a Rick Flag, but it'd be really great to get another member of Flash's key rogues in his classic outfit. This modern one, I'm just not a fan of, and I would love to see it with the whole wild outfit. So let's do that. Classic Boomerang, classic Sinestro. Let's keep this thing going. Finally, the guy who was the leader of the team for a long time, he's got two outfit choices. Talking about the Wizard, I don't mind the top hat look, but I kind of think his supervillain outfit is pretty cool too. It gets revisited in the Justice League Identity Crisis, where they're fighting a secret society of supervillains again. And I kind of think this will make for a more fun looking figure. So there you go. We got a nice array. It's another 7, 4, 6, 8 members of the secret society of supervillains. So let's get those guys done. You'll see more members of them later on in this list, though. Now, I had to make a distinction with the satellite era of the Justice League because got another squad of Justice League members that we need done as well. This time, let's go to Howard Porter and Grant Morrison's JLA. We've got most of this team done. There's a few more that we need to see in figure form. First up, and I know we've got different variations of him, but we don't have a really classic version. And this is going to be one I'm a little bit annoyed with if we don't see. So I need to get him slender mold, not a bigger torso and all that stuff. I need a slender one for Wally West as the Flash. We've got Kyle Rayner. We've got Aquaman. We've got Martian Manhunter. We've got Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, both forms. We got regular classic. We got electric blue and red Superman. We got Huntress. We've got Steel. We've got Orion. We've got Plastic Man. But we need Wally West. He's one of the original members of the JLA, and we kind of sort of have him in that Justice League Task Force wave, but I want a classic one without the need to customize anything. So Wally West Flash, first one for the JLA section of this wish list. Next up, Big Barda. We need her. I mean, we've got a Mr. Miracle coming. Big Barda looks awesome. And we got her teammate on this version of the JLA with Orion. We get those three. We've got a pretty decent squad of new guys, and I know we got that Wave Rider from earlier, but Big Barda is probably the next important new god. Apologies to Light Ray, who I would still love to see in this line later on down the road, but got to get her. Next up, just to complete the team, let's get Zoriel. Zoriel was a cool looking angel, and I think he would have a lot of fun playing around with the wings, the armor. He's a great character design. Love to see him in figure form, so let's do that. And then finally, he's not on the team long, but got to do this for my boy Piffy. Aztec, let's get him Has he had a figure outside the that old non-posable figure line from Kenner way back in the day? Love to see Aztec. His helmet is just unique enough alone to be worthy of a figure. So let's see how they can pull that off. And we have a full-on JLA team, but we need people for them to fight. And that's definitely something that I made sure was key with these lists. Like, all right, you got these heroes, you need more people for them to fight. So let's go with Queen Bee. She's fun. She can control a bunch of people and drones to fight the team. We already got Starro. Let's get Queen Bee. There's more female membership in the villain ranks. So she'd be a really fun, cool looking figure. Next up, since we've got Zoriel, let's go with Asmodel. And he's probably not my top choice in terms of daily villains. I wouldn't mind a General Eiling, but I think McFarlane would go nuts going all out, doing an Asmodel figure. He's big, and Superman in his electric form can fight him too. So that would be a pretty cool setup on your display. And we've never gotten an Asmodel figure before. So I'd love to see him just for that alone. And then we can have him fighting Zariel as well. But there's no sense having JLA characters without getting their main villain. And I'm not talking about Lex Luthor or Joker. I'm talking about Prometheus, the dude who fought them the first time, whooped the entire team. So Prometheus has a great design. He would look awesome with great sculpting because McFarlane would go nuts with him and his design. Maybe the helmet's removable. We don't have to have that be the case, but Prometheus from McFarlane would be a great figure. Absolutely want to see him done. He's one of my top 10 most important characters. We got that Wonder Woman. Prometheus is another one for sure. Random members. Sinestro, Captain Boomerang from the Secret Society of Supervillains. But that's it there for the JLA ranks. Let's move on to another Justice themed team. Let's go with the Justice Society of America. And this team is interesting because McFarlane has done a little bit of the modern team, a little bit of the classic golden age, although it's kind of skewing with more modern designs for him. But so it's like a big mix of both of these teams. And it's kind of interesting on that front. Where do we go with the priorities? So for the golden age team, I decided let's keep it to about 4. So I limited to Starman. Starman's got a great design, classic. You know exactly what his deal is thanks to the trusty little star there in the center of his outfit. So get Starman. Then we get Adam, a founding member of the team. And I think he would be the last founding member that we need to have a complete original JSA. So got to get him. Hopefully he's not super tall. We know scaling is not a feature of McFarlane's DC Multiverse line, but if they can just make him shorter, I'd be really happy about that. And finally, Dr. Midnight. He's not a classic original member of the team, but he was on that squad for so long. He might as well be. It's kind of weird. We've got so many other figures. He would be one that would be pretty essential to me. And we can get his owl, Hootie. Hootie hoo. So let's get him. And I said finally, but there's one more character, one more member of this team that always gets neglected in figure form, maybe because he's just harder to do. I'm going to find a workaround. Johnny Thunder. Johnny's going to be the last member of the original team, but I mentioned 4. I've got Starman, Adam, Dr. Midnight, and Johnny Thunder because I've got a 5th one, Thunderbolt. I cheated, considered Thunderbolt with him. He's not his own separate one, but as a Build-A-Figure, I can fudge that a little bit. So Thunderbolt is our Build-A-Figure for our 4 Justice Society Golden Age figures to wrap them up. Yeah, there would be some other ones I would include, a Huntress, but it's just we're running out of time. We're running out of viable options. And then, of course, I mentioned that collector's edition Hawkman. So we can get a cow, one with the skull cap for Golden Age Hawkman, and then one with the beak a little bit higher up, like they had him in Justice Society. So that way we've got him covered on that end as well. Now let's move on to the modern Justice Society because they need some more members as well. So for that squad, got to get Sand. He was the leader of the team early on, and his costume is pretty cool. There's some different variations, not the one that he started off with, but his newer outfit when he started getting more of his powers. That look was really cool, and it distinguished him a little bit more from just being, oh, he's the Sandman on the team. So I want to see Sand in his second outfit, not looking like he's just, hanging out at the rec squad, playing a little target practice or whatever. Let's get the classic look for him and that with the superhero suit. So superhero suit Sand, first one. Next up, Dr. Midnight. Yes, slight deviations. Maybe he could just be the platinum version of the original Golden Age Justice Society Dr. Midnight. Maybe they can just do a little tweaks because there's some parts that are different on those costumes, but maybe that's a way to cheat and get him out there too. Maybe. Then Jakeem Thunder. We've already got a Thunderbolt now. If we get Jakeem, we've got that squared away. Now I'd love to see him utilize the hair deals so we can get a bald portrait, we can get the dread portrait, and we can get a hat for him too. So that'd be awesome to get that. And there's no sense having a modern day Justice Society wave without getting Stargirl. I'm still shocked and surprised we don't have her yet from this line. So she would be one. So I've got 4 members from my JSA classic, and then 4 for my modern era Justice Society team. So that's a pretty good base. And then we've got Thunderbolt to kind of work the middle, build on both teams as our build a figure. Now we're moving on to a team that has casually been started, but I think thanks to the role of Superman with one of those characters, a little bit more time, and maybe this will open the door to getting a classic version of this character. Talking about Batman and the Outsiders. We got Batman, we got a Geoforce. It's pretty solid from that era, and that's the one that kind of was like, well, if you did Geoforce, you may as well finish off the team because we've never gotten the Outsiders as a full team either. So, want to get a classic Black Lightning? Yes, we have a figure of him, but they should have gone classic anyway. Then Katana, Halo, and Looker. It's 4 figures again because I'm really trying to pull and get as many figures. And I think the build a figure route is the best way to get as many as possible. Metamorpho would be the build a figure for the Outsiders wave. And since it's only 4 characters, that makes it really easy to lock that in and get the 5th one with Metamorpho as the build a figure. And they could do hopefully like they did with Plastic Man, where you could build him with 3, but you can do different, you know, arms and legs, different limb attachments with other figures. So he's in Superman. Hopefully that means, yeah, we can go back and double dip and get a regular old school classic version of him as well. Fingers crossed. So we got the Outsiders, we got the Justice Society, Golden Age and Modern. We got the JLA, we got the Justice League Satellite era. We got the Secret Society with supervillains covered. 6 teams, not bad. But let's keep this thing rolling with another, maybe, possibly my favorite version of the Justice League International. You see the poster right? Boy, I can never get that down. Yeah, right there behind me. Kevin McGuire's art. And we're really doing pretty well with this team. So you can maybe see. Yeah, you can see Booster Gold, Guy Gardner, Blue Beetle behind me. Captain Atom was too small. But if they crank out more members of this team, I might feel obliged to go get him as well. But we're getting close. We just need another 4-figure wave with a builder figure to complete this squad. Got to get Black Canary in her second outfit. Yes, I know we don't have Black Canary in her classic look, but we got to get her in her 80s jumpsuit look, shorter hair. You can also go the different portrait that has the longer hair, so you can go either way. But she's pretty much the main one missing from that iconic poster, the cover of JLI #1 or Justice League of America #1. Yeah, we need Dr. Light, but she wasn't on the team long enough to worry with. Next up, Fire and Ice. Let's go with their original costumes. Yes, they got updated versions later on, and we've got Fire flamed on. Let's just get her in her basic green flame attire and Ice Maiden before they change it up a little bit. Let's go with their original Guardians of the Globes outfits. So you can get them. That's 3 females. I know Todd would lose his mind at that suggestion, but what can you do sometimes? You got to get these team, got them, get them done. Rocket Red would be the next one. And I've not figured out my builder figure if I have Rocket Red as a single one. Let's go. I'm going to make a slight change. This is going to be 51. Bear with me. Let's go with the character that I just mentioned. So let's go and drive Todd completely nuts. Let's go with a Dr. Light figure with a builder figure Rocket Red. And I know the likelihood of him making 4 female figures in one wave is impossible, but it's my wish list, so we'll see what happens. But Rocket Red would be really great, and I would love just his classic boxy look, not necessarily the Apocalypse armor, even though I really love that. The boxy one would be great. And maybe we have just the basic helmet closed up version. Then we have another one where you can see a smile, the missing tooth because Black Canary knocked it out. And then maybe you could have a Manhunter head sculpt to really have some fun with it and play up all the different story arcs involving old school Rocket Red on the JLI. So there you go. That's that team knocked out. And yeah, I know I said the Secret Society of Super Villains, but we need some more villains in this thing. So let's go with a few more. And I want to say this name, and he's had a figure before, mostly classic, but I want even more classic. I need a Legion of Doom version of Lex Luthor with the purple and green jumpsuit with the little pellets, tablets, whatever they were, capsules making that X on his belt. Gotta get that. And it's an essential look for him. I know we've got the green Lex armor version, but we really need to get Lex in that old school look. It's too important. It's too key. And I know we've got a Super Friends figure with it in a pinch. Maybe that could work, but gotta get this before the line is done. Next up, Brainiac. Got most of Superman's main villains in some form. And we got a weird kind of hybrid version of Brainiac, but we really need to get a version of him. I'm not sure which way to go with the Lex Luthor clone or the robot drone. I don't care. Either one works for me. So we got those two. Next up, let's get Felix Faust. We need some villains that can take on a whole team of Justice League. Felix Faust checks that box. He'd be a really cool figure. Hopefully, he would get a soft goods skirt piece, if nothing else. That way, he can have some posability without just being a cone figure. So Felix Faust would be great. Maybe he could come with alternate hand sculpts with the Justice League as puppets for his fingers. That would be awesome. Next up, Amazo, another character who fights a whole squad of Justice League, can take them all on. I would love to see him in his original look. I know Justice when Mattel did their version, it was a slightly more modern version, but I'd love to see him with the full-on original look where he comes with Wonder Woman's lasso. He's got the big shoulder pads rocking. Let's just go all out with Amazo. Then let's see. I have a figure that I wanted to add and I forgot to move him. So let's take one of these guys out. Let's go with Solomon Grundy. Definitely need him. Another sneaky Legion of Doom member that I can add to the team. But he fights a bunch of characters. He can fight the JSA on his own as well. So let's get him another big hulking figure for Todd to have a lot of fun sculpting and having fun working on that sculpt. Next up, another one, Ultra Humanite, big gorilla who's an albino. Why has Ultra Humanite not been made into a figure yet? Now, for my number 46 choice, I had Weather Wizard. I reluctantly have to take him off to get another main bad guy, one who fights the Justice Society, the modern era team. Talking about Eclipso, he's a really big menace and got to get him as well. We got a really great figure from Mattel with him, but I'd love to see what McFarlane Toys could do with the DC Multiverse version. So Eclipso got to have a hand that holds the gem, the black diamond. Let's make that happen. And then my final four to the new Teen Titans. This team is too important not to have a full roster. We've got a Nightwing coming, and that looks awesome and it looks cool. But where's the rest of his team? And I know we've got a Kid Flash. I wish he were scaled better, but he's done. So I'm not going to include him, but let's get the rest of the team. We got Starfire. Absolutely need her. Her original modern take figure was a big sellout. Everybody was like, oh man, I can't find Starfire. So let's go the classic George Perez look for her. Let's get that done. Wonder Girl in her red, yellow, black boots combo. She needs a figure. And another one. We got the Troya Starfield outfit. We need her classic look. Speaking of classic looks, let's go with Cyborg. He's coming in the Super Powers line. We just need him in the main one with his original look, not all the whole. Hey, he's barely human at this point. That's what I love so much about the original design. It was like, yeah, there's a man with all these metal parts too. Something they've kind of gotten away from with each update to Cyborg's look. Finally, I know it should be Changeling, it should be Raven, but we kind of got both of those characters, and I wanted this guy because I feel like he just never gets any love. I'm gonna go with Jericho. is my last one, simply because I want to have him and Nightwing doing their thing as they go to fight Deathstroke. We got a Deathstroke the Terminator figure coming, so let's see if we can make that happen. So let's do a full on breakdown of my top 50 really fast. I won't say any more numbers. Here you go. Number one started with Wonder Woman, Green Arrow, Black Canary, Hawkman, Hawkwoman, Elongated Man, Zatanna, Gorilla Grodd, Kronos, Star Sapphire, Poison Ivy, Classic Sinestro, Blockbuster, Captain Boomerang, Classic Look, The Wizard, Zoriel, Wally West Flash, Big Barda, Aztec, Queen Bee, not Little Kim, Asmodel, Prometheus, Starman, Golden Age, Adam Golden Age Dr. Midnight, Johnny Thunder with T-Bolt, Thunderbolt, Build a Figure, Sand, Dr. Midnight, Jakeem Thunder, and Stargirl from the modern Justice Society. The Outsiders get represented with Halo, Katana, Looker, a classic Black Lightning, and a Build a Figure Metamorpho. JLI gets wrapped up with Black Canary, Fire, Ice, Dr. Light, and a Build-A-Figure, Rocky Red, cheating, but whatever. And lastly, the Legion of Doom version of Lex Luthor, Brainiac, Robot, Luthor Clone, Don't Care, Felix Faust, Amazo, Solomon Grundy, Ultra Humanite, Eclipso, Sorry Weather Wizard one more time, and then wrapping up with Starfire, Cyborg, Wonder Girl, and Jericho. That's my top 50. If I get most of those, I would be ecstatic. Hopefully, Ty can deliver most of these figures. I don't think they're too crazy to hope for. He's already done a fire figure. Maybe some of these super secret society supervillains are stretched, but we'll see. I mean, he loves Batman villains. Poison Ivy, Blockbuster, Solomon Grundy have a better than average chance of getting made in their classic looks simply because of their connection to Batman. We'll see. But that's my list. That's my top 50. Now, of course, for you all, what are your top 50? You don't want to go with 50? What's your top 10? Top 25? Let me know. I had a hard time breaking that down to top 10. That's why I went all the way to 50. But if you got yours, let me hear them as well. Maybe Todd will be influenced by what we say in the comments. So as always, thank you so much for watching. This episode of Lost Figure Files has been filed.